Yakuza boss here. This is the real story. The rain in Namba doesn't clean anything. It just moves the dirt slowly from one place to another. He wasn't a bad man. He was a broken one. There is a difference. It took me decades to finally see it. Nobody told them to move. The street just moved. That is what real authority looks like from the outside. Every time I went down, I got back up. Not because I was brave, because I had no other available option. I didn't know it then, but that fence, that man, that smile, that was the moment my life was decided. I had never sat in a room that quiet. The envelope between us was a question only I could answer. I counted it twice, put it in my jacket, walked home. Never once believed my own story about what it meant. I remember every second of those 7 minutes. It is the clearest memory I have. Everything after blurs. I lay on that mat and listened to metal and oil and breathing. By morning, I knew exactly where I was. The envelope is ready before you arrive. Routine maintained long enough becomes indistinguishable from law. In any organization, the man who delivers more than expected without being asked is already being watched. He blinked, looked away, stepped back. I did not move a single centimeter. That was the entire answer. A man who cannot endure 12 hours of pain without moving cannot be trusted with anything that matters. 2 years, 24 sessions, 1 dragon. It cost more than money, and that was entirely the point of it. We watched because witnessing is part of the code. To look away would insult what he was doing for us. I held it with both hands and bowed, and in that moment understood I had just accepted absolutely everything. You don't buy loyalty from a corrupt officer. You buy silence. Loyalty is something else, much rarer. Negotiation begins before a word is spoken. It begins the moment you decide where you are willing to stand. The blow landed. I stayed on my feet, said the word. Every man in that room exhaled at exactly once. The Itazumi does the work before I say anything. Every bathhouse in Osaka. Every time. Without a single word. He pointed to one section of the map and folded it back. In our world, that is a complete set of instructions. Ownership through benefit, not through fear. Fear requires maintenance. Benefit maintains itself automatically. A single stamp. That is the only thing separating 40 million yen of cargo from 40,000 yen of access. 2 parallel lives running in the same city simultaneously, each one making the other possible to maintain. The longer you wait in silence, the more the other man begins filling it with things he did not intend to say. I have sat at tables in 7 countries. The envelope is always the same shape, regardless of the language. She understood the terms before the ceremony. What we built on that understanding lasted 23 years. The tattoos on my arms, the men outside the door, all of it irrelevant. 7 pounds, 2 hands, 30 seconds. In 30 years, I have buried men who died in every possible way. He died in a bed. That was a rare gift. 10 seconds looking at the seal. Then I picked it up. There was no version of that moment where I did not. By the time the last man bowed, it was nearly dawn. I had received 47 loyalties and 47 liabilities. A legal company is a translation device. It converts one kind of money into another kind of money. Nothing more. I trained him from the beginning, sat with the news for 1 hour, then continued because stopping changes nothing. What I wrote was not a threat. It was a demonstration of knowledge. Knowledge, properly shown, needs no threat. They banned the pen. They didn't understand the pen was never the source of anything. We were always the source. Same men, same hierarchy, same absolute expectations. Different clothes and a conference table. Nothing else changed. 4 years of university. I watched every departure from a car with tinted windows and told the driver to go. 20 years. 2 pages. 4 readings. Each time hoping the photographs would somehow be of different people. The tea was careful and correct, and we both understood that what came after it would also be careful and correct. 8 months and the legal arm was gone. The other operations absorbed the difference without slowing down. The faces on the screen were men I had eaten with. I held my cup and stayed in that room until it was dark. The refrigerator hum, the neighbor's television, the traffic below, the sound of having no one protecting you. The map was handwritten from memory on the floor of a bare apartment. It was the most accurate map I had seen. A small structure with absolute trust is not a compromise. It is a more advanced version of what came before. The aisle, the basket, the oranges. 4 years of distance collapsed into 10 seconds of saying absolutely nothing. Young and organized and certain, they arrived at 3 in the morning to a building I had left at 2:55. 5 minutes. That is the margin between preparation and consequence. I have always lived inside that margin. We sat across a low table in a mountain ryokan and talked for 3 hours like men who preferred to stay alive. One neighborhood for 40 lives. I made that calculation in under a minute. The math was never in question. A ghost and a gardener. The petals fall identically for both. I stood there until that stopped bothering me. The city kept moving past the window. 1 week. Maybe 6 days. The city had no opinion about any of it. 30 years of construction, and at the end, you stand inside what you built, and you wait. That is all there is.